Holy smokes, hockey fans. I've just received explosive information from multiple sources inside NHL front offices that Vancouver Canucks management is secretly plotting what could be the boldest move of the entire offseason. My contacts confirm that Jim Rutherford and Patrick Allvin are finalizing plans to target Dallas Stars prized center Mavrik Bourque with an offer sheet that could shake the foundation of both franchises. This isn't just speculation. This is advanced intelligence from decision-makers directly involved in the process. Before we dive into the stunning details of how Vancouver plans to exploit Dallas's salary cap nightmare, smash that like button to make sure every hockey fan sees this breaking news first. I've been covering the NHL for over 2 decades, and I can tell you with absolute certainty, if Vancouver pulls this off, it would represent one of the most cunning strategic maneuvers we've seen in years. The brilliant simplicity of their plan becomes clear when you understand the perfect storm of circumstances that makes Dallas uniquely vulnerable to losing their future star center for just a second-round pick. This is the kind of opportunity that comes along once in a decade, and I'm genuinely fascinated to see if Vancouver has the courage to execute this aggressive strategy. The 2025 off-season has officially begun for the Vancouver Canucks, and with it comes the tantalizing possibility of a move that could dramatically accelerate their competitive timeline. While much attention has focused on traditional trade targets and unrestricted free agents, multiple NHL sources indicate Vancouver is seriously exploring a far more aggressive strategy, targeting restricted free agent center Mavrik Bourque with a precisely calibrated offer sheet designed to exploit the Dallas Stars' precarious salary cap situation. What makes this scenario particularly fascinating is the unique position Vancouver finds themselves in regarding offer sheet compensation. Without their 2026 third-round pick, currently owned by Calgary from the Nikita Zadorov trade, the Canucks' offer sheet options are severely limited to either the rarely used lowest tier, $1,511,701, or the extremely expensive highest tier, $11,452,294 plus, that would cost 4 first-round picks, neither of which is practical. However, this limitation creates a perfect strategic opportunity in the sweet spot of the second-round compensation tier, specifically contracts valued between $290,457 and $4,580,917. This narrow band is precisely where the Canucks could extract maximum value while minimizing compensation costs, and Bourque represents the ideal target within this framework. The 22-year-old right-shot center possesses exactly what Vancouver desperately needs: high-end playmaking ability, hockey intelligence, and legitimate top-6 potential at the center position. While somewhat undersized at 5'10" and just under 200 pounds, Bourque compensates with exceptional vision, puck-handling ability, and an elite hockey mind that allows him to dissect opposing defenses through creative passing lanes and intelligent positioning. Bourque's development trajectory makes him particularly appealing as a target. Selected 30th overall in the 2020 draft, he has methodically elevated his game at each level, dominating the QMJHL with 68 points in just 31 games as captain of Shawinigan in 2021-22, before steadily improving his AHL production from 47 points as a rookie to an impressive 77 points in 71 games this past season with the Texas Stars. His NHL debut in 2024-25 yielded respectable rookie numbers with 11 goals and 14 assists in 73 games, placing him 13th in rookie scoring. While these aren't earth-shattering statistics, they represent merely the foundation of what scouts project as a high-ceiling playmaking center who could blossom into a 60-plus point producer with the right opportunity and line mates. What truly creates this rare opportunity, however, is Dallas's catastrophic salary cap situation heading into next season. The Stars have already committed approximately $89.6 million to just 15 roster players, leaving them a mere $5.87 million in space to fill 8 additional roster spots. This financial crunch becomes even more severe when considering their pending free agents. UFAs, Matt Duchene, Mikael Granlund, Jamie Benn, and Cody Ceci will all require significant contracts to retain, placing Bourque in a vulnerable position, despite his long-term importance to the organization. A strategically structured offer sheet at approximately $4.5 million would essentially force Dallas into an impossible decision. Matching would consume nearly their entire remaining cap space, while declining would cost them a promising young center for merely a second-round pick. Furthermore, NHL rules prevent teams from trading a player whose offer sheet they've matched for a full calendar year, eliminating Dallas's ability to sign and trade Bourque as a potential workaround. The timing of this potential offer sheet adds another fascinating dimension to the situation. Despite his promising future, Bourque has struggled to maintain his roster spot during Dallas's current playoff run, being made a healthy scratch in Games 2 and 3 after posting a 2 rating in the playoff opener. This temporary demotion creates a unique psychological opening. Bourque might be particularly receptive to an offer sheet that demonstrates clear organizational commitment from Vancouver, especially one that significantly exceeds what Dallas appears likely to offer given their cap constraints. From Vancouver's perspective, the calculus is remarkably straightforward. Their most glaring organizational need is a skilled right-shot center with top 6 potential, exactly Bourque's profile. The compensation cost of a 2026 second-round pick represents exceptional value for a former first-round selection who has already proven his ability at multiple levels. Additionally, a 5-year contract at approximately $4.5 million could quickly become a bargain if Bourque develops as projected, providing cost certainty through his prime years rather than facing escalating bridge deals. The only significant obstacle beyond Dallas potentially matching would be competition from other teams with similar cap space and draft pick availability, who might pursue the same strategy. This reality means Vancouver would need to present not just a competitive financial package, but also convince Bourque that their organization offers the best opportunity for his development and eventual championship contention. Factors that could prove decisive if multiple offer sheets materialize. This potential Vancouver-Dallas offer sheet drama represents exactly the kind of bold, creative thinking that separates proactive management from reactive leadership in today's NHL. Rather than continuing to accumulate assets or overpaying for declining veterans in free agency, this strategy targets a young player whose current contractual situation creates a rare market inefficiency. For the Canucks, the risk-reward calculation heavily favors aggression. The worst outcome is simply Dallas matching and retaining their player, while success means acquiring a potential top 6 center for minimal draft capital compared to traditional trade costs. For Dallas, this scenario represents a nightmare of their own making through years of aggressive win-now contracts that have left them vulnerable precisely when their prospect pipeline was finally producing NHL-ready talent. The irony that their cap management might cost them one of the very players meant to provide cost-controlled production during their competitive window adds another layer of intrigue to this developing situation. As the offseason unfolds, this potential offer sheet represents exactly the kind of bold strategy that could accelerate Vancouver's competitive timeline while addressing their most critical organizational need. The window for such a move opens shortly after the conclusion of the Stanley Cup Finals, giving Canucks management precious time to finalize their approach and potentially transform their center depth with a single stroke of calculated aggression. Whether they ultimately pursue this strategy will reveal much about management's appetite for risk and their assessment of how close this current core is to legitimate contention. What's your take on this potential offer sheet strategy? Would you support Vancouver making this aggressive play for Bourque, or would you prefer they pursue other options for upgrading their center position? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and hit that like button if you want to see more in-depth analysis of the Canucks' critical off-season plans. This developing story could become the most fascinating chess match of the NHL summer.